graduation ceremonies, and we want to start off right there by extending our heartfelt congratulations and commendations to the students who graduated from the Charlestown Secondary School, the Nevis Sixth Form, and the Gingerland Secondary School. And so on Tuesday we saw the ceremony for the Charlestown Secondary School at 9 a.m. at the Nevis Cultural Complex, and it was indeed a very proud moment for all of the supporters of the 2024 graduating class of the Charlestown Secondary School. We want to extend commendations to all students who performed well and who were able to complete their academic journey. Of course, they completed their journey in July. However, their commencement ceremony or their graduation ceremony took place this week. Special commendations to the valedictorian of the Charlestown Secondary School, Miss Rusha Sharma, and Rusha was able to cop 9 CSEC subjects with 9 distinctions, 9 grade 1s. And to the salutatorian, Taidre Woodley, we also want to extend heartfelt commendations and congratulations to you. As I said, the students performed remarkably, and we want them to know that we expect great things and greater things in the near future, and of course in the distant future as well, as they continue to strive and to thrive and to go from strength to strength. We also want to extend commendations to the graduating class, the 2024 graduating class of the Nevis Sixth Form, and we learned that the Sixth Form students also performed extremely well. They were remarkably, the results were remarkably high, and we want to applaud them for that. And special commendations to valedictorian Ayush Patel and salutatorian Rishikesh Srinivasan, and they both copped 10 CAPE units with 9 grade 1s. And the valedictorian Ayush was able to edge out Rishikesh just by the number of A's, so he was able to get more A's than Rishikesh, and that was the deciding factor. Of course, you know that you have to go down the levels. So first you look at the grade 1s. If you have a tie there, then you have to go and look at your profile, and then if you have a tie there, you have to go and look at the T-score and lots of different nuances. You have to go to the A's, then the B's, then the C's, then the T-score. So there are so many different levels to this, and we know that the students, as I said, they shone brightly. They did it very well, and we are so proud of them. On Thursday, we also saw the graduation ceremony for the Gingerland Secondary School, and the graduating class of the Gingerland Secondary School performed well as well, and we say commendations to the valedictorian Rajon Fifield and to the salutatorian Shama Otley, and we wish you, gentlemen, and you're noticing a trend this year. We have, when we look at the top 6 students across the graduations, we have 5 out of 6 males. So Rusha, I think, is the lone female in the top ranking this year, with topping the Charlestown Secondary School's list. But outside of that, all of the others are males. So Sixth Form had 2 males, and GSS had 2 males, and then of course Taidre at CSS. And so we had 5 out of the 6 top ranking spots taken by males. And I know that persons have been asking and questioning as to what's happening to the males. Yes, the academics are often female dominated. Females have been doing incredibly well, and so we are so proud of our boys, our young men, for a job well done this year. In addition to the graduation ceremonies, we also had a few other activities happening during the course of the week. The Department of Youth partnered with the Premier's Ministry to present the 2024 Youth Summit, and it was focused on climate change. And safety and security, youth safety and security, and focusing on crime and violence. And so we want to commend the students who participated. We had over 70 students who were part of this summit, and we also want to thank the Department of Youth for the work done behind the scenes as well to ensure that this came to fruition. And we also want to thank the Premier's Ministry for the initiative as well. Then we had on Friday was a very, very busy day. In fact, we saw that they started off with the SJCIC quiz, the 2024 Nevis Cooperative Credit Union SJCIC quiz. And we know over the years, I'm sure all of us who attended school here at Nevis can recall from time immemorial that we had this particular quiz, and it is still going on. And we want to say congratulations to the NCCU as the sponsors and the SJCIC as well. And coming out of the quiz, we saw first place going to VOJN Primary School, second place going to Ivor Walters Primary School, third place going to the Charlestown Primary School, and the top student was Advith Swiminathan of the VOJN Primary, and the runner-up student was Michaela Bailey of the Charlestown Primary School. And so we just want to say congratulations to you students. As I said, you did remarkably well during that quiz, and we are so proud of you. We also had, so that was a 9 o'clock start. At 10:30, we saw the launch of the EU-funded Commonwealth Local Governments Forum led project, and that project is a project which focuses on building the TVET skills or skills training and entrepreneurship in our young persons. We have a cohort at the Gingerland Secondary School where we will pilot this initiative, and the hope is to expand in the years to come. Just a quick overview or summary of what is happening around this project. The project aims to provide resources which will facilitate skills training, and our focus areas for this year are cosmetology and carpentry. So through the project so far, and there are more things to come, but so far we have procured manicure stations. We've procured the students had their mannequins that they used to braid the hair, but those dolls are all Caucasian. We were able to mix in some ethnic, some African, some mannequins of African descent, and so that they could get a chance to really work with the various hair textures. They also have their the chairs. They also got washing stations, hair washing stations, so that they can practice that skill as well. So there are many things happening for this project, and we know that on the other end, the carpentry end, we've seen some protective gear, we've seen some dust collectors, so that the dust doesn't end up just staying on the floor, but it goes through a system and over into the dust collection point. We've seen some stands and shelves where and lockers where the students can properly store their materials, and that is in the first dispensation. So that takes us to this point. In the next few weeks there will be more resources coming, and by the end of the school year we hope that the students will be able to be properly exposed to and to be able to gain some very important skills through this project. We are so thankful to the PTA of the Gingerland Secondary School. The agreement was signed with former president of the PTA, Mr. Roger Fifield, and we now have the newly elected Dr. George Chirima, who is the new PTA president at the Gingerland Secondary School. And so we are working collectively, jointly, to bring forth this project for the students. And as long as once the pilot is finished, we will be able to share more with the other schools and other students across the island. On that note, we are going to take a short break, and when we come back, we have a very exciting initiative, something coming up this week that we're going to discuss. We'll take a break.
From Queen City, Nevis, this is the powerhouse of the Eastern Caribbean, Vaughn Radio.
It's time, come on, rise and shine. You know, I know we're gonna have a great time. And now we're past it quickly, you don't wanna miss it. So turn up the radio, it's Youth on the Go. Youth on the Go. Whoa, let's start the show. Oh, Youth on the Go. Whoa, let's start the show. Whoa, let's go. I will learn new things. I will be creative. Grab your gears, let's gather around, and adventure is always waiting. The storytelling news for us, and we always know what's happening. We act, we play, we dance, we sing from 9 to 10 on Saturday morning. Youth on the Go. Whoa, let's start the show. Oh, Youth on the Go. Whoa, let's start the show. Whoa, let's go.
All right, good morning to all of our radio listeners, our viewers via Vaughn Radio's Facebook page and YouTube channel, and welcome to this edition of Youth on the Go here on Vaughn Radio. I am ZAHNELA CLAXTON from the Ministry of Education Natal, and we have with us a special guest, not a guest, we have a frequent flyer in the person of Mr. Jack Gumba. Of course, we know of the partnership between the Ministry of Education and the Nevis Disaster Management Department, where we spend some time with the awareness campaign, using the school awareness campaign, where our students act as disaster management ambassadors each month. And so usually the last Saturday of the month, we would have a student or two students or so in here with us, and we'll talk about a particular disaster or hazard and how we can mitigate and how we can prepare. And so that has been going on for the past 2 years. It has been, I think, a very fruitful relationship and partnership. And so I want to welcome all of you this morning to a different discussion, still disaster management related, but welcome to our discussion on the 13th Caribbean Conference on Comprehensive Disaster Management, an event that underscores the region's commitment to fostering resilience and preparing for a dynamic future. This year's conference is themed Road to Resilience, Checkpoint 2024, Leveling Up for a Dynamic Future. And it brings together over 300 delegates from 20 participating states, as well as representatives from South America, Europe, and the Caribbean. Did you notice what I just said? All of this is happening in St. Kitts and Nevis, okay? And it gets better. Hang on, pay attention, you'll see how it gets better. The event spans from December 2nd to 6th, 2024, and it is a 5-day event hosted in St. Kitts and Nevis, which showcases innovative disaster management strategies, cutting-edge technologies, and collaborative approaches to resilience building. Among the key highlights are workshops, exhibitions, a film festival, and discussion on topics like artificial intelligence and disaster preparedness. Central to the conference is the Youth Forum, and I'm getting excited as I go, more and more excited. A 3-day program, wait for it, let me say it again, a 3-day program in Nevis, right here on Queen City, Nevis, from December 3rd to 5th. And it is aimed at empowering young people to become leaders in disaster risk reduction. Complementing this is the Multiple Hazard exhibition on December 4th, where students will present creative and practical solutions to disaster risks through interactive displays and simulations. And we have with us this morning to shed some light on these pivotal events that we're so thrilled, we're so excited. Lots of things happening in the Federation, but even more so in Nevis. And who's going to help us shed some light? None other than Mr. Jack Gumba, the Deputy Director and also the Communications Coordinator at the Nevis Disaster Management Department. And Mr. Gumba, Jack, thank you for joining us today, and let us start by diving into the exciting youth forum. Since it's happening in Nevis, we're going to start right there, and what it means for the young people of the Caribbean. Can you just provide us with an overview of the youth forum, which will be happening right here on Nevis?
Thank you very much, ZAHNELA, for this opportunity. The Youth Forum is a 3-day event which is part of the CDM conference. And before even getting into it, it's good to give some things that are very significant. The first thing is, this is the first time the OECS is hosting the CDMA conference. The second phase is, it is the first time St. Kitts Nevis is hosting. And the third phase, it is the first time the Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis will feature as a keynote speaker for a CDMA conference. So we have 3 firsts. Okay, focusing on the Youth Forum, it is a 3-day event running from December 3rd to the 5th. And it aims at empowering youths from across the region, including participants from St. Kitts Nevis. We anticipate hosting around 100 youth participants along with maybe their chaperones. The goal is to equip these youth individuals with the knowledge and skills needed to develop champions of resilience within their homes, schools, and communities through interactive activities, technology-based training, and engagement with experts. They will develop strategies to tackle disaster risk effectively.
All right, Jack, I want to dare say, I'm going to challenge you a bit, to say that you missed the first. It's the first time that we have the Youth Forum happening. Where?
In Nevis.
Right here in Nevis.
Right here. How could I miss that?
I don't know. That is one of the most exciting firsts.
Okay.
So, of course, all of the things that you shared are indeed groundbreaking, and we have so much to celebrate because this, hazard management, disaster management, they're important topics, and to get our young people from around the region and even internationally coming to Nevis to have these conversations, that is a big, big, big deal, listeners. And so what kind of topics can we and activities will we have included as part of the Youth Forum?
Great. The Youth Forum will feature diverse topics, and these include disaster risk reduction, hazard mapping. I mean, this is a very key one, hazard mapping, and community resilience. Each day is packed with interactive sessions. So for instance, in the morning sessions, which will be led by humanitarian open street mapping, they're going to coordinate the youth and allow them to use technology to map hazards in their schools and community. So for disaster management, this particular training will enhance the young persons to be able to play the role in hazard and vulnerability assessment as experts. After this training, they will gain that skill. And for the afternoon sessions, there will be presentations from regional ministers who will visit, not necessarily presenting, but talking to the persons. And let me say a little on that. These ministers are coming not only from the 20 Caribbean islands, but also from Latin America.
Okay.
They'll be right here in Nevis.
Wow.
And so disaster experts and university representatives, mostly from UWI and others from the United States. So they'll also be showcasing career opportunities in disaster risk reductions. Participants will also engage in peer-to-peer discussions and brainstorming sessions to share their unique perspectives and solutions. That is how rich this event is going to be.
And Jack, of course, thinking about the persons who will be here and the UWI, I know we've had a lot of call-ins over the last 2 years from various persons from the UWI Seismic Center and those types of entities. So I'm hoping that some of our friends who called in might be on the ground next week. But if not, we know that there is, like you said, there are opportunities for rich discussions and conversations, and we are once again so excited about it. I saw something out there that says that somebody in this room might be on the calendar, on the agenda to do a presentation. I don't know how that person got on there, but I think Mr. Jack had something to do with it.
Maybe you know the name of the person. Can you call them?
I don't even know. I am still a bit confused on that one, but I'm teasing. So yes, I will be on the agenda, and the work that we have done here on Bond Radio over the last 2 years will be featured, and that is something that I think is really commendable as well. So how does the multi-hazard exhibition fit into the Youth Forum?
Thank you for that question. And it's a very good thing you started by highlighting yourself.
Did I?
That's it. Yes, and I want you to know CDMA had been following your program on a weekly basis. In fact, the disaster aspect of it every month. And the recognition has reached a point where they are considering emulating it in different islands. So just to let you know, CDMA has always paid attention to the multiple hazards campaign, which you gracefully host right here. Now, for this exhibition, how does it connect? The multiple hazards exhibition taking place on Wednesday, take note of the date, on the 4th of December, is a highlight of the forum, meaning after talking on all the safety and procedures following the disaster management cycle, the exhibition is going to be more of a display of what has been said. So in that case, it showcases the work of youth from the region, including innovative projects on building resilience at schools and community levels. Each schools will present visually engaging displays on assigned hazards. As we all know, on Nevis, the 11 schools have been assigned their hazards from January through to December, and it's ongoing. However, in this exercise, 7 schools will be present, and each will present the depth on that hazard, explaining the preparedness steps, evacuation routes, and survival kits essentials. The event encourages creativity, realism, and innovation in presenting strategies to reduce risk reduction. And permit me say this, CDMA has been so supportive to what has been going on behind the scene, in that for this exhibition they would have donated $2,000 yes, to enhance the creativity for the participating schools. And as if that is not enough, they would have printed t-shirts for the students who will be participating. Mind you, this is just the beginning of things. So I really want us to be mindful of that. CDMA will take this time to say thank you.
And of course, Jack, like you, I want to also say thank you to CDMA for recognizing the work of the students, and Jack, to be honest, for recognizing your work and the work of the team at the Nevis Disaster Management Department, identifying and highlighting the students every month to ensure that the message is spread not only in the schools but also in the community, in the churches, and way beyond. So that is something that we find commendable, and we want to applaud, we want to acknowledge, we want to highlight, we want to put at the forefront. And listeners, when you listening and the students are telling you how to prepare for various events and hazards, and you're able to interact and you're able to learn from them, and we encourage them to go home and teach their parents and teach their communities. It is really great work and very, very valuable work. And so, Jack, we have so many more questions about the campaign, the forum, and all the various logistics around this, but we'll take a short break, and when we come back we'll talk about a little bit more about the exhibition and what the public can expect.
From the Caribbean's powerhouse.
Merry Christmas from all of us to you. Merry Christmas. It's time, come on, rise and shine. You know, I know we're gonna have a great time. And now we're past it quickly, you don't wanna miss it. So turn up the radio, it's Youth on the Go. Youth on the Go. Oh, let's start the show. Oh, let's go. I will learn new things. I will be creative. Grab your gears, let's gather around. An adventure is always waiting. There's storytelling news for us, and we always know what's happening. We act, we play, we dance, we sing from 9 to 10 on Saturday morning. Youth on the go. Whoa. Let's start the show. Youth on the go. Whoa. Let's start the show. Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Welcome back to all of our radio listeners, our viewers on Von Radio's Facebook page and YouTube channel, and welcome to this edition, a very special edition of Youth on the Go here on Von Radio. Today we are focused on an upcoming activity next week. We can look forward to an inaugural event, and that is the 13th Caribbean Conference on Comprehensive Disaster Management, happening right here in our federation. And on Nevis more specifically, we will be focused on the Youth Forum. Just before the break, we were talking about the multi-hazard exhibition, which is planned. And so, Jack, can you give us some more details, some more specifics about the exhibition, the setup, and that type of thing for our listeners and viewers?
Wow, I am super excited about talking on this. I would say prepare for an exceptional experience as the multiple hazard exhibition takes, central stage at the Malcolm Gisha Recreation Park. Schools are required to arrive 2 hours before the start of the event to set up their displays, and that start is 12 at the dot. So we'll encourage schools to be there by 10 a.m. If they could come earlier, the better. And this will include them setting up their banners, those who see have their banners, informative posters, detailed brochures highlighting their knowledge of hazard preparedness. Adding a dynamic element, students will conduct live simulation. I still want to hit on VOJ and Joycelyn Libert, Cecily Brown, and St. James Primary. They know what they have as a surprise. So I'm expecting that to be showcased as a simulation package. And what we also need to know is that they will be dressed in their awareness t-shirt. So you are not just going to see the schools wearing the regular sport t-shirt, but their t-shirt will have their message of safety. For instance, the one with earthquake, you will see drop, cover, hold on. Okay. And that is how it goes. Now, in addition to this, we should also take note of the fact that schools outside St. Kitts Nevis will participate. So we'll have a school from St. Lucia and Grenada. They too will participate in this multiple hazard exhibition. As if that is not enough, institutions are on board. Who are there? The Red Cross for St. Kitts Nevis, the Robotic Association as well, the Nevis Recycling from Solid Waste will also participate. World Bank says they need their boots, so they are on board. And also Tropical Shipping, which of course is one of the main sponsors to the Youth Forum or the youth component at the conference. So all these persons will participate. But take note of this very important thing. The exhibition officially, even though it starts at 12 noon, and it has a specific highlight where those ministers of government from the 20 Caribbean islands, including those from Latin America, will take the time to go through the various booths in order to see what the schools have been doing. I consider this once in a lifetime experience for those students to get those caliber of persons appreciating what they are doing live. So for now, that is what holds, which I encourage everyone to be there. It's open to the general public to witness what the children are doing.
Okay, wonderful. And so general public, you know what that means? We can't have our students here on Nevis showcasing their displays. We can't have students coming from Grenada and St. Lucia showcasing their displays, and we're not there to witness it. So this is an open invitation. Make sure you are there for the exhibition, which officially begins at 12
noon
on Wednesday. And of course, make sure that you go around and you take your pictures and you interact and you ask the students questions and you engage them. Okay, so what impact do you hope, Jack, that these events will have on our young people?
Certainly, the hope is to inspire and empower the young to take active roles in disaster preparedness and resilience. By equipping them with practical skills and knowledge, they can become leaders in their communities, advocating for better disaster risk management practices. Moreover, we aim to spark interest in disaster management as a career, contributing to the regional or to the region's capacity to handle hazards and sources of resilient future. In summary of that, we want to build a resilient Caribbean, and of course we want navies to be strongest.
Yes. And our level of resilience, Jack, depends on the work of all of the key stakeholders, but also the buy-in from the public.
That is
and
it.
So we can't say it enough. This is a group effort. This is a team effort, and our team is Team Nevis.
Effort.
Yes, it's everybody's effort. And so do not miss out on this opportunity, listeners and viewers. You have to be part of it. You might not be able to sit in on the youth forum, of course, that there's a maximum capacity, but you have to be part of it. And we are going to hear from one of our organizers very soon, in short order, so that we can get some more information from Sidima. However, we want you to understand, one, this is the first time that this event is happening in the OECS. 2, this is the first time it's happening in St. Kitts and Nevis. 3, this is the first time that the Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis will get a chance to give a feature address for this activity. And 4, this is groundbreaking for us here on Nevis.
Wow.
That it is the first time that we'll be hosting regional and international young persons as part of a youth forum. It is the first time that we're going to be having an exhibition which includes not only our students here on Nevis, but we've gone a little further afield. We've gone to St. Lucia and Grenada, so it's not even just the Leeward Islands thing, it's an OECS thing, but you have the Windward Islands involved as well. This is a can't miss initiative. It's a can't miss activity. We don't know when it will come around again, but we want to make sure that when they leave, they're so impressed that they want to come back next year. And so listeners and viewers, it is important for all of us to come on board, not only for the initiative and the summits happening for the week, the youth forum and the general forum happening for the week, but also that we must come on board to ensure that we are prepared for any potential hazards, that we learn about the impact of things like climate change and all of the different contributors that will potentially have an effect on us and our ability to respond effectively, and that in our homes that we're doing work and that we're learning so that we can prepare and have a culture within our homes which supports ensuring that we're prepared for any possible disaster. We know from January to December, the children come in and they share information. They tell us how we can prepare. They tell us what to do before. They tell us what to do during. They tell us what to do after. One of the things that we see over and over again is that we need a communications kit. So all of those things, they tell us to have family meetings. They tell us, and I've learned so much from our students. They give us the key terms so that when we hear them on the news and when we hear them during the alerts, that we know what we're talking about and what is happening. They also share with us how we can ensure that we keep abreast and what are the places or the areas where we can get the information that is accurate. There is no stone that is left unturned through the campaigns of the Nevis Disaster Management Department, and now they have gone regional and international, and so we have to ensure that we are part of this and that we're supporting this process. And so we will be fielding a conversation in short order, and Jackie, just let me know when we are ready and where we can field a conversation about that initiative. And of course, we know that the local initiative here on Nevis will be continuing to grow from strength to strength, to look out for bigger things in January, to see how we can better support the processes. So we can look for bigger and better things coming in January, more engagement, more involvement, more support. We have the simulations, we have the drills, we have different things happening at the schools, and we want to bring them right here to you, our viewers and listeners. And we have our ambassadors doing their ambassadorial duties. We have all of the schools. I know that 2 years ago, not last Interprimary, but the Interprimary before, as part of the March past, we had the each school having their banner for the various hazards which may affect us and which they represent. And as I said, all of these things come together, and all of these things have garnered, based on what Jack has said, the attention of SEDIMA, and that they have come to the realization that our work here, the work of the Nevis Disaster Management Department, working in collaboration with the schools, the Ministry of Education and schools, working in collaboration with the churches, are doing great things to ensure that we get the message out to all of our persons here on Nevis, and I dare say beyond Nevis as well, because the persons who are listening to us, they are learning, even if they're in other countries. We've had calls from Puerto Rico, we've had callers from Trinidad, we've had calls from, I think one time someone called in, they were from the region but in the US at the time. So we've had local calls from here on Nevis. We know that some of our frequent persons or callers right here, for example, over in our Met office, we hear from, sometimes we hear from Kaya Wilkes, who works over there in the tower at the airport. We've heard from Mr. Brian Dyer, who is the director of the Nevis Disaster Management Department. We've had Ms. Zoe leading this program for us on occasion. As I said, it's a continuous process of learning and growth. We were able to launch the Ambassadors Program last year, and we had Minister Brand and Minister Liber present as part of the collaboration between the two ministries. And so, as I said, much great work being done, being recognized across the region. And so we want to continue to do that, okay? We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back.
City Saint kids, keep it sweet. Keep listening to Vaughn.
It's time, come on, rise and shine. You know, I know we're gonna have a great time. And now we're past it quickly, you don't wanna miss it. So turn up the radio, it's Youth on the Go. Youth on the Go. Oh, let's start the show. Let's go. I will learn new things. I will be creative. Grab your gears, let's gather around. An adventure is always waiting. There's storytelling news for us, and we always know what's happening. We act, we play, we dance, we sing from 9 to 10 on Saturday morning. Youth on the go. Whoa, let's start the show. Youth on the go.
Welcome back to Youth on the Go here on Vaughn Radio. I am ZAHNELA CLAXTON from the Ministry of Education et al. And we are in some exciting times, not just because it's going to be Christmas in short order. It's December, tomorrow starts December, but we have at the beginning of December a big deal event for SEDIMA, for the Caribbean and Latin America and the world, but for us here on St. Kitts and Nevis, and let's hone in a little bit also for us here on Nevis. We have with us this morning a very important individual who is integral to the process, to the entire work, and we know this, come to know this gentleman over the past few years because he has consistently been doing work with us at the ministry through the Nevis Disaster Management Department. Good morning. Can you please introduce yourself?
Good morning, Ms. Claxton, and thank you for having me on this morning. My name is Benez Kojo, and I am the Senior Programs Officer for Safe Schools and have responsibility for coordinating the youth forum as part of our CDM conference here in St. Kitts and Nevis.
Okay, wonderful. Mr. Kodra, tell us a bit about the work that you do and some of the things that you've done, and then you're going to tell us a bit about the Youth Forum right after.
All right, so thank you. We have been partnering, as you rightly said, with the Ministry of Education and the disaster offices both in St. Kitts and Nevis, as well as other agencies within the Twin Island of St. Kitts and Nevis, including Ministries of Agriculture, Tourism, and so on, as we collaborate in terms of making our schools a safer and a better place for everyone. So we have had a partnership ongoing with St. Kitts and Nevis through CDMA, through our Safe Schools program, and we have been doing some capacity building in terms of training educators and other stakeholders so that the sustainability of the program can continue even when we scale down our financial support, that the country would be able to continue to have the program running.
All right, all right, Mr. Kodra. So we're going to talk a little bit about the Youth Forum. You know we love all things youth, and we have a Youth Forum coming up next week right here on Nevis. Can you tell us a bit about that upcoming forum?
Absolutely, and let me just say congratulations to St. Kitts and Nevis being the first OECS country to host the CDM conference. We are very pleased that we will have our youth forum, and this has been hosted in Nevis and has been supported by the government and people of Nevis as well as St. Kitts. But our youth forum is going to be held at the Malcolm Bouchard Recreational Park from December 3rd to the 5th, and we have lots of exciting and participants will be involved in terms of the various activities that we will have from Tuesday to Thursday. So just to go through the agenda with you, we've partnered with the Humanitarian Open Street Mapping team, which is called HOT. They will be coming in from Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And the morning sessions, they are going to be doing open street mapping, using the technology and helping our youth to identify various hazards, and of course using the technology to find ways to either eradicate or to minimize the impacts of the hazards on their communities, on their schools. So we believe that the practical exercises that they would get, the use of the technology, they can go back into their communities, into their schools, and become a pillar or a vessel of change in the community for the better. We are building that resilience in our young people so that as they go out, they would be able to be the champions and the future leaders in terms of disaster risk reduction in your country and wherever they find themselves in the world. It's not just for the country, but wherever they find themselves. In the afternoon, we will have some speakers, including youth speakers, who will be coming to share from their experiences and working with the youth in terms of, again, building resilience in the communities, empowering the youth that they can go back into their communities and again be the pillars of change for the better when it comes to disaster risk reduction. We also have on day 2, we have our ministers who are going to be at the main forum. They will be coming across to Nevis and they will be spending the afternoon with our youth, again sharing from their experiences, hearing from the youth in terms of the policy decisions, so that as they go back into their countries, they too as ministers, hearing from the youth, they would go back and be able to amend or implement new policies where disaster risk reduction is looking at it from a national and regional perspective. We have you, Ms. Claxton, with your vast experience in the field. You will be presenting to our youth, and I know we're looking forward with bated breath, with your experience, with your knowledge, your skills. The youth are eager to hear from you, especially being the Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Education. And of course, even at a policy level, I think the youth will be given the opportunity to share with you from their own experiences, you know, what can be done to improve current pieces of legislation and what they see for the future in terms of disaster risk reduction. So we're looking forward to your presentation. Looking forward to you being at our opening ceremony, Ms. Claxton. We also have other speakers coming in from UNICEF. We have speakers coming in from Jamaica. And on Thursday afternoon, we have a very exciting career showcase where we have University of the West Indies, we have the University of Technology in Jamaica, and we also have the University of Guyana. So we have Dr. Ines Springer will be speaking with our youth. We have Professor Bino from the University of Guyana, and we have Dr. Lawrence Newville from UTech, who will also be sharing what is available in terms of career paths, in terms of scholarships, opportunities for our youth as we look at disaster risk reduction, resilience, climate change, and opportunities that the youth can get for career paths as we look at building the future and building a resilient future, so that when people like myself and yourself and Jack have moved on, we have our youth who would have been equipped with the knowledge and skills, and of course those of us who've been in the field to provide some level of support through advice and so on to those young people, so that our Caribbean region will be in a very good place when it comes to us working in terms of disaster risk reduction, climate change, building resilience where communities. So we have a very packed agenda, but a very exciting one, and one where the youth will be engaged. It's not just people speaking, but there will be practical exercises, and more importantly, the youth voice will be heard as we go through our various sessions throughout the 3-day sessions.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kodra, and please take our commendations back to the team. As I said, this work that you've been doing in the Federation is not new work, but you have really extended and ensuring that we've partnered to bring forward this CDM conference, and we look forward to it, and we look forward to the engagement with the youth. May I ask, just as a follow-up before you go, the training that will be done over the period during the mornings with the students, would it be a trainer of trainers? Would they be able to train other students coming out of it, or do we have to then go back and do some extensive other training for other young persons who are interested?
Okay. Thank you for raising that. At this first stage, we are training new persons. The intention is we will continue to partner with HOT, and they will be able to do train-the-trainer programs as we go along into next year. So we have had the discussion with them. So the persons who have been trained, and we can also bring along other persons, but we will be providing train-the-trainer program next year. It will be an introduction to the youth this time, but look forward to the trainers next year.
And so we can challenge the youth who are present also to pay keen attention, because maybe they can be selected as part of the trainers as long as they, you know, have the motivation and they show the interest. And so young people who will have the opportunity to be there, we encourage you to really take on board everything you're learning. Once again, Mr. Kodra, we look forward to seeing you throughout the week. and of course the other updates coming out at the end of the week next weekend to hear a bit about how the conference went. But until then, we thank you. We thank you for the information shared. We thank you for the work that you've done on the ground to date, and for once again having the vision of partnering with us here on St. Kitts and Nevis to host this very important event.
And let me just take the opportunity as well to just say thank you to our sponsors. Thank you to our local organizing committee. I've had a team that has been working tirelessly. Jack is part of this team. People like Mrs. Lestrade from your ministry. We are so thankful that we have such a dynamic team that we're working with from St. Kitts and Nevis. I also want to thank the Ministry of Education, the disaster departments, for the continued support, and we really are looking forward to an exciting 3 days of our youth forum. Thank you so very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kodra, and we look forward to hearing more from you and to seeing you in the weeks to come. And listeners, radio listeners and viewers, that was Mr. Benes Kodra, and he is on the ground. He's here. As I said, he's no stranger to being here, but he will be coordinating as the Senior Program Officer for Safe Schools. He'll be coordinating some of the work and, of course, leading the process on the Youth Forum happening in Nevis during the course of next week. So we are close to the end. Jack, is there anything else you want the listeners and viewers to know about the forum next week before we go? We have about 30 seconds.
Great. And in terms of the forum, the mapping training, the good thing about it is it's going to be incorporated with the Student Ambassadors program, because the aspect of database and research, that's a very vital tool. And so we encourage the participants now to know for a fact that they will in turn become trainers. And I also want to take special opportunity to thank people at the Disaster Management Office who work alongside me. Ms. Zoe Bendito, she's really worked so hard. Ms. Kyla Danton, and our newly recruited Ms. Tiana Williams. So those persons have really done so well as far as this is concerned.
All right, thank you so much, Jack, and thank you, radio listeners, viewers on YouTube and Facebook. We look forward to sharing more with you next week, and of course we're going into December, so we can get all cheery and merry. It is now officially okay to be all cheery and merry. Some persons don't like when we start too early. We wish you a very productive week, and last thing, we know that this week coming up is also the last week of school, which means our students and our teachers will be going on break. Students go on break on Wednesday, and teachers officially go on break on Friday. So it's a big week, lots of things happening, and we wish you all a productive and safe one. Have a great week.
Thank you.
It's time, come on, rise and shine. You know, I know we're gonna have a great time. And now we're past it quickly, you don't wanna miss it. So turn up the radio, it's youth on the go. Youth on the go. Oh, let's start the show. Oh, youth on the go. Oh, let's start the show. Oh, let's go. I will learn new things. I will be creative. Grab your gears, let's gather around. An adventure is always waiting. There's storytelling news for us, and we always know what's happening. We act, we play, we dance, we sing from 9 to 10 on Saturday morning. Youth on the go. Whoa, let's start the show. Oh, youth on the go. Whoa, let's start the show. Whoa, let's go.
With all the power from the tower, this is the